Thank the gentleman. This bill that we are considering, the Polluters Protection Act of 2011, repeals the scientific finding that global warming pollution is dangerous. It ties EPA's hands and prevents it from moving forward with any regulations to reduce global warming pollution. It even prevents EPA from thinking about global warming pollution as part of its other duties under the Clean Air Act. In George Orwell's 1984, Big Brother's faceless minions at the Ministry of Truth dispose of politically inconvenient facts by pitching them down a memory hole. Today, Big Oil and Big Coal have been working with the Republican thought police to comb through each and every reference to global warming pollution in the Clean Air Act and then disappear them, sending scientific consensus down the memory hole at the expense of public health and welfare. But their bill will create new jobs. I mean, the oil and the coal and the utility lobbyists who are here today and watching on the web all across America, there's new people being hired in those industries to make sure that the EPA cannot do its job, and we congratulate you for that purpose. But what this bill also does is to bar EPA from doing anything further to reduce oil from cars, trucks, planes, boats, or other sources. The legislation might even nullify the progress we've already made over at the EPA in reducing demand for oil. The Republican bill could result in an increase in our dependence of more than 5 million barrels of oil per day by the year 2030, more than we currently import from OPEC. So that's what we're doing today. Tomorrow, in this very same subcommittee, we are holding a hearing on the impact of Middle East unrest and its impact on U.S. energy prices for consumers. That's like holding a hearing on repealing FDA's authority to regulate tobacco and then holding a hearing the very next day on the dangers of tobacco in creating lung cancer. 5 million barrels of oil per day. At $90 per barrel, that's $164 billion a year we would send to OPEC if the Republicans are accurate. That would fund al-Qaeda. That would fund Hamas. That would fund Hezbollah. That would fund the Muslim Brotherhood. That's what this money would be used to accomplish. That's what their bill makes possible. Now, I understand why Arab oil sheikhs and Oklahoma oil men want the price of a barrel of oil to continue to rise and to rise and to rise. But the consequences for American young men and women that we would have to send over there, the impact on our geopolitical status around the world would be devastating. Instead of holding the line so that we continue to back out that imported oil, the Republicans have offered us a unilateral disarmament policy that al-Qaeda and other groups around the world will be able to exploit as we send more money over there to import oil into our country. By repealing the endangerment finding, Republicans are endangering the current standards by opening up a litigation loophole in the current standards to reduce oil use in cars and light trucks. And Republicans are barring EPA from moving forward with any new standards at all. Do you agree, Madam Administrator, that this legislation would increase our dependence on foreign oil if you are prohibited from promulgating additional regulations to reduce our dependence upon that imported oil?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't this bill also undermine the renewable fuel standards, which is driving the production of homegrown biofuels that will further reduce our imports of oil from OPEC by 1.6 million barrels of oil per day?
Yes, sir, I believe it does.
Doesn't this bill also prevent EPA from setting standards to reduce oil use in trains, boats, planes, large trucks, and other industrial sources that account for almost 40% of all oil that we use each day.
Yes, sir, I believe it would.
So basically, what we have here then is legislation that is a regulatory relief bill for oil men in Oklahoma and at OPEC that will allow for a tightening of the noose around the neck of American foreign policy and consumers that will come back to haunt us in years ahead because we did not use America's greatest strength, our technological genius, to improve the vehicles that we drive, improve the appliances which we use, improve the efficiency of the buildings within which we live so that we reduce dramatically the amount of energy that we have to consume and tell OPEC we don't need their oil any more than we need their sand. That's what this hearing is all about, and that's why this bill has an historic place in terms of its undermining of our national security.